tell me a little about who you are and why you're here.
I'm Brian Smith. I'm on the board of directors for the CFIDS Association of America. I got sick with CFS when I was a freshman in high school at the age of 15. Here I am 16 years later. I met Claudia through the work that I do with the CFIDS Association, and it was about October of '09, and we came up with this idea, and this is the second annual event, and here we are.
What do you think are some important things for these riders to know about what is CFS and what are some facts about it?
Not just riders, but for everybody in general. One fact is that CFS can be as disabling as end-stage AIDS, renal failure, COPD, you know, more understood illnesses, and you know, a lot of people don't understand CFS, and the name, you know, doesn't do it justice. So that's probably a big thing, you know, and also the fact that most of us look healthy. You know, it's an invisible illness. So.
And how many Americans do you think are?
There's the last CDC prevalence study was, I believe, in '07, and they estimated between 1 and 4 million Americans. I think personally that it's both overdiagnosed and underdiagnosed, meaning that you know, I think there's people out there who have CFS who don't have a diagnosis, and there's people with a diagnosis who probably have something else going on, and that's just the nature of the illness. It's such a mystery, and you know, very hard to understand and to diagnose. So
what other, I'm gonna get a shot of your son here too. What other facts do you think are important for people to know about CFS?
One big thing that kind of struck me a few years ago when I got involved with the CFIDS Association was the amount of money the federal government spends for researching it. In 2007, between the NIH and the CDC, they spent a total of $8.7 million. It was $4 million for one and $4.7 for another, and that's, you know, for 1 million to 4 million Americans. And you look at a disease, for example, MS. The prevalence of that is 500,000 Americans, and the government spends, you know, 10 times that amount. They just spend so much more, and it's bad to, you know, you almost have to compete. The diseases have to compete for funding, but for example, psoriasis is one that's really heavily funded, and it gets way more funding than CFS, and you know, the burden on patients is nothing compared to what people with CFS have.
What do you personally take away from this race?
You know, last year when I came down here, I had no experience with, you know, biking, and I was amazed by what kind of a subculture it is, and I was just blown away last year at how professional the event was and how receptive all the participants and the attendees were. Coming into the race on Friday, I would guess that maybe 98–99% of the people there had no idea what CFS was, and they were here just to race, you know, for a biking event. And by the time they left Sunday, a lot of people were a lot more well informed, and they knew what this race was for and what their donations were going towards. So it's the demographic of the people that race is a group of, you know, a demographic of of people that would otherwise not know anything about CFS if it weren't for something like this race. So.